And a big welcome back to Everyman Driver. I'm Dave Erickson. Thanks so much for watching. This week we're on assignment in Seattle, Washington to get an up-close and personal look at the all-new 2015 Toyota Camry. So Dave, when you were presenting this car to the media earlier, you pointed out three things that Camry has done for 2015. A new look, a different drive, and a different feel on the inside.
Yes.
So let's start with the exterior. Everyone's going to notice this front end. That's the first big thing that pops out of people.
Yes, in fact, we did restyle everything but the roof. It is a carryover platform. This is a mid-cycle change by technicality, but the scope of the change is huge. All the sheet metal panels on the car except the roof are new. So yeah, you have a brand new grille up there, which of course is a huge statement compared to what we replaced it with, right? And even the Comfort Tune cars with their 5-bar grille is a very, very more pronounced grille assembly than we've had before. One of my favorite things about the front end is the lower bumper now has integrated turn signals and daytime running lights on some of the models. There are no grades now that have inserts there covering up holes in that cover where there's no components, where in the previous car, the lower grades that didn't have fog lamps and such would have little plastic inserts there. So we've changed some of those things to make the car look a little more integrated, I think. But overall, the styling is really what's big there. Our metal stamping has improved. Our ability to do that in a cost-effective manner has improved. So now we have a lot of character lines on the car that really make it look as active as it is under the skin with the suspension changes and stuff.
While trying to maintain a Toyota look.
Yes.
That's got to be the challenge of any kind of refresh, is maintaining its identity.
Yeah, you don't want to lose your DNA, right?
Yeah.
You still want to have a Camry look like a Camry and a Prius look like a Prius, but at the same time offer the consumer something fresh that will help maintain their interest in the vehicle. And in this case here, what we wanted to let the consumers know is that, yes, it's still a Camry, and it does all the things a Camry's done well for years. It's the right size vehicle, it hauls 5 passengers. But now we have this new sporty personality to it that it didn't have before. And we wanted to emphasize that with the styling too.
What I find interesting is the fact that you went to consumers and it was almost Camry by committee.
Yes.
Have you heard that term before, or that people are wondering it's all based on customer feedback? It sounds like it.
Yeah, we've really gone that way more in the last few vehicles that we've released, I would say. But yeah, I haven't heard Camry by committee, but that's a great way to put it, really. We have been talking to our customers. Our engineering group started out doing it. You saw Monty Kerr on our film today, our chief engineer, and he and his group went out and did a lot of customer clinicking work on their own early on to talk to our owners out there and also potential owners who were considering the car. Our marketing department has traditionally done the bulk of that and still does, and they did their own research and then really kind of compared the two between engineering and marketing's results. And even my training group did a small customer clinic to bring people in to get reactions to the car after we had the design finalized. We brought some prototypes into the office and had them look at it too, just so that we could also get a better understanding from a training perspective what was important to our owners out there, what did we want to focus our programs on. So I think to your point, Dave, really we have looked at our consumers and our potential consumers in ways we never have before.
Sometimes giving a customer what they want isn't always best for the customer, but in this case, what do you think?
Yeah, that has been a bone of contention, I think, for all manufacturers for a long time, right? We all have, I think, in our minds what we think the customer should have or what they should need or perhaps should want. And we've been building Camry as a car that people should want because it's got all these great features. But what we wanted to do is build a Camry that had that emotional appeal so that it's not just the car they should buy, but the car that they'll want to buy on their own. We've tried to make people gravitate to this car a little bit with the new styling.
And that's the emotional aspect of it?
That's the emotional aspect of it, and I think the dynamic performance aspect of it. We will hope that when people get in the seats like we are now and drive the car, they're going to notice a difference in the vehicle's performance as compared to before and really glom onto it. I can say from a personal experience, I was involved in the launch of this generation Camry back in the fall of 11, and when we brought it out, I thought it was the best driving and handling car in the class. But in the ensuing years, our competitors haven't sat still. Ford, Nissan, and now recently Hyundai have restyled their cars, but also done work on their drive lines and components and suspension. So one of the things I did notice when I started testing this particular car here, now the 15 models prototypes, was that those driving manners were enhanced, and noticeably so for me. I could tell.
So I think you said that the wheelbase or the wheels have been put out by just a little bit, but that
Yes.
makes a big enough difference in the handling compared to previous versions that people will notice?
Yeah, really, there's a lot of things, Dave, at work here. The first thing is we did widen the track by almost a half an inch, which, a half inch is not that far, right?
Yeah.
But every little bit helps. So if you consider widening the track a half an inch, on the LE grade, you widen the wheels a half an inch also to give it a bigger contact patch. And then you retune springs and shocks, and then adjust the EPS, the electric power steering feel. All that stuff ties in to give you a car that is not only more comfortable where it needs to be, but also is much more capable when you want to push it.
Okay.
And that's what we were shooting for. And I think if you talk to Monty, if he were here today, he would say that they're pretty happy with the results. The new XSE grade that we talked about today with you is a new grade of gasoline car, and that was, I think, a byproduct of the top levels at Toyota. Akio Toyota himself saying, "Hey, gang, let's make some cars that are more fun and exciting." And so Monty was given permission to turn his chassis engineers loose and his suspension group. And he told me, he said he challenged them to go out and put together a Camry that's going to be really exciting to drive. Using the platform that we have, what can we do to it, right?
Yeah.
So they adjusted some more suspension settings, a little different shock settings, and then the 18-inch wheel and tire package to really make that a zippy car.
It really comes across from you that you're excited about this, being,
yeah.
a car nut.
Yes, it's really fun to work with the engineering group and see what their vision is for the car. And then it's very fun to talk to people like Ethan, who was at our presentation today, the marketing manager for this car, to get his vision for it, and then put this all together, tie it into the consumers out there. How does this car affect a person's life? How does Camry or any of our models, how do they benefit the consumer or the owner that wants that car? What characteristics does each car have that makes it, loved by its owners? And the discovering of that and the talking about that makes me excited.
So many changes on the outside.
Yes.
With the way it looks, all the different pieces. What about the inside? There's softer touch materials. What are people going to notice this year versus previous years?
Yes. Well, even in this SE model, which is your entry-level sport tune car, the door panels are a lot softer. The dash is softer. The exterior clock is gone. It's now in your head unit.
Yeah.
We have backup monitor standard here. You've got navigation in this grade now. So the electronics, the in-cabin technology is improved. The location of our charge points and stuff inside our little storage console here is improved. That multi-information display you have between your gauges there is that new design that really tells you a lot more about what's happening with your Camry and helps the car to communicate with you.
Yeah.
And the nice thing is with that setting, that multi-information display, you can change the accent colors of that and your audio head unit. In the settings section, there's about 4 or 5 color choices. So if you're feeling kind of down, you can have it blue. And if you're feeling wound up and you're a DEFCON orange, you can go to orange accent colors, right? So you can have some fun customizing the look of your car a little bit too on the inside. And these are things that we're really moving more towards, to also help appeal to that younger consumer who's more electronics focused.
That was my next question. I think
Sure.
you had a stat up there that says the average age of the consumer of a Camry now is 45.
On the SE grade, our average age is 45, which it really upsets me because for the first time in my life, I am now older than the average age of a Camry driver, which is, I'm just bitter about getting old. But anyway, yes, that is, and in fact, that's been our lowest Camry demographic now for quite some time, and we're happy about that.
So is that you think that's a concerted effort to come down to, is the 45 age group a wider age group? Because baby boomers are the ones that are growing so fast.
Yes, the baby boom generation now is getting up in age. I'm a trail boomer and I'm 53. And so to have a car now showing a demographic below me, which once again upsets me, but on the other side of it, corporately, it's great. Because what that tells me now is Gen X is now appealing to this car. The car's having an appeal to them, I should say, right? And so we're seeing some people out of my demographic, a trail boomer or a boomer generation, having an interest in our bread and butter vehicle, and we are very excited about that. And we will continue, Dave, to imbue this vehicle with the kind of features and stuff that will hopefully appeal to that consumer.
It doesn't mean the baby boomers or the trail boomers are getting out of Camry. It just means you're attracting more of the younger generation.
That's right. Our Camry-based customers that we've had traditionally are still with us in large numbers. This car still appeals to me and for many reasons that I think it would appeal to my peers. But at the same time now, with this new electronics we have, is going to appeal to some folks that are younger than I am, that have more of that tech-savvy lifestyle. And so I think, we're really broadening the appeal to the car. That's why we have more grades now than ever, with the 2 Comfort Tune and the 2 Sport Tune cars. and then with the broad appeal of different interior features, because the interiors are all new, the seat materials, we've got some snazzy sporty interiors like this, and then the Comfort 2 cars are a little bit more luxury appointed and a little bit more understated, if you will, to appeal to a different consumer.
Can you be objective enough to see where there's room to grow with the Camry versus its competition? Because you have to compare apples and apples and go, what do they have that we don't, and what do we have that they don't, and how can we continue to be innovative?
Yeah, I think there's two areas that really, and you could maybe even say three, that you really have to focus on. The cars in this segment are all about the same size, and they're all within a few hundred pounds of each other in weight. So they all typically haul 5 people, and they all have a high degree of utility. That's why they sell so well. Because if you don't want a minivan and you don't want a Yaris or something in the subcompact, this is that mid-size. It's kind of a Goldilocks segment. Not too big, not too small, not too short, not too tall. But how do you differentiate yourself from your competitors? Styling is one, ride and handling is the other, and then interior in-cabin technology really is that final area. And what I think you'll see is that if you looked at all the cars in this segment, they all have their own personality, they all drive a little different, they all have a different level of technology in them and a different interior design and look. And I think these cars then appeal to different owners based on some of these more finely differentiated features, just like people, right? These cars all have a little bit different look and feel and mannerism to them. I've tested them all, and I like them all for different reasons.
Now, as someone from Toyota, are you encouraged, or do you seek out the competitors and drive their cars to get a feel for what are the differences?
As a trainer, I would be remiss in my job if I didn't. And so I do. When I travel, I don't drive a Toyota product, I drive one of our competitors, and depending on what I'm working on or researching at that time, I'll try to find competitors for that vehicle. We also have meetings within our training department where we discuss the competitor cars and drive them and evaluate them. There's definitely a lot of that going on. We do a lot of research and a lot of evaluation of competitor vehicles.
I tell all of my subscribers and followers, you always have to test drive it, regardless of what I say, what you say. If you don't get in the car and drive for yourself, you're doing yourself a disservice. So I think what you're saying, by even testing the competition, you've got to do that.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the cars are so much better made nowadays than they were even 20 years ago, I think. I very rarely see anything I would classify as junk, where 20 years ago I could drive stuff and say, boy, this is just not a very good piece. Nowadays the cars are all very well put together, they've all got great features, and so you really have to get in it and drive it and just see what you like.
For even more information about the all-new 2015 Toyota Camry, be sure to visit everymandriver.com. Until next time, I'm Dave Erickson. Thanks for watching.